What's up, y'all? My name is Jonotthan Harrison, and you're listening to another episode of Oak Performance Radio. Enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Oak Performance Radio. I'm your host, Adam Lane. If you're new to the show, our goal here is to create some content, some fantastic content for athletes, parents, and coaches. We tell stories, have laughs, and go into everything that is the end game of athletic performance, helping athletes achieve their optimal performance and be the best they can possibly be. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Oak Performance Radio. I'm your host, Adam Lane. With me today, from beautiful, hot Atlanta, Mr. Jonotthan Harrison. Jonotthan, thanks for joining us.
I appreciate you having me, Adam.
No, this is good, dude. You're a busy guy. You've done many things. We play some football. You're a business owner. Played for a handful of NFL teams. Offensive line. Been doing it for a long time. You're not a rookie here.
Yeah.
For the tens of people that listen to the show that might not know who you are and why you're such a big deal, tell these people who you are and why you're such a big deal.
I'm not gonna say I'm such a big deal, but my name is Jonotthan Harrison. I'm a 10-year NFL vet. I played for 6 teams throughout my career. Primarily a center on the offensive line. Played a little bit of guard as well. And this would be year 11 for me, and I'm transitioning out of the NFL right now. I told myself that 10 years was my goal. I accomplished that. Anything beyond that is a bonus, but just being completely transparent, I'm not necessarily chasing that goal anymore. I'm getting to my mid-30s now. It was becoming an uphill battle, and yeah, I realized that my mind and my drive was wanting to be applied, elsewhere. So here I am, transitioning to the world of, being an entrepreneur, enjoying it so far. And yeah, that's kind of just a quick rundown.
There you go. How recently did this switch happen? Like this, did you get to the point where you just more of a work than it need? I mean, obviously the NFL is a business, but is it more of a job to lace up the cleats and put on the helmet than it was 9-10 years ago? Or
and I'll be completely transparent with you. The NFL provided me, a lot of opportunity, a lot of, honestly, just, financial and like social gains, from a very young age. It's a truly a blessing, and there's certain things that I would have never experienced if it wasn't for the NFL. From day one, personally, I viewed it as a job. I never once looked at it any other way. I never once looked at it as like, oh, this is football. I always viewed it as a job and carried myself accordingly. Being early, not on time, doing the extra to make sure my body's taken care of, to make sure I'm prepared. There was times when I was starting and there was, a lot of pressure on me. There was times when I wasn't starting, but that starter was, ready to go down at any second, and I need to be prepared to jump in, at the drop of a hat. So to be honest with you, like I said, I've always viewed it as a job, and I just realized that the older I got, the concept of the NFL that people don't really grasp is, the older you get, the more your minimum value becomes. Every year you're worth a little bit more at a minimum. Eventually you get to a point that if you're not the guy, if you're not that main guy that the team is wanting to play and wanting to invest in, once you get to my age, teams start to realize that they can get 2 younger players for the price of 1 me. Once again, it's a business. It's a business. So I hit the peak, the peak of my career, year 4, 5, and 6. And then year 7 was COVID year, and it kind of just derailed my career a little bit. And then 7, 8, 9, and 10 were truly like just uphill battles. Not even necessarily physically. Like physically, I could hop on a field right now and play. That's just like how I prime my body to be. But more like mentally and psychologically, it's literally the definition of insanity. I was running full speed into other 300-pound men dozens and dozens of times a day to not play. I was doing everything possible, going above and beyond, overexerting myself, showing that I can still perform, just so coaches or teams could be like, all right, no, we're not going to play you. Or, it's out of our control. This is a guy that we're trying to develop. We have this year 3 guy that, but, just stay in shape and we'll give you a call, like that type of thing. And that's like the reality of the NFL. Like what everyone sees is like the 1% of the NFL, but they don't see the 99% of players that end up on 3, 4 different teams in a season. That maybe we're in a training camp and then 2 years later they're getting another opportunity. But they've been working like a 9 to 5 for the past 2 years. Like those are the players that really make up the NFL, and that's I don't want to. I don't have the desire to be like an advocate or anything for like that portion of the NFL. But anytime I talk to someone, I'm quick to let them know, like, hey, look, that's the reality. I'm not saying like woe is me or woe are all of these guys that go through that process, but that's the reality of the NFL. That's what people don't really see or pay attention to.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, it's funny because, just trying ESPN and watching the commentators commentate about this guy or that guy, or I can't believe Dak did this and blah, 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 blah. It's, or, the, Ravens have no defense and they're da, 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 da. And I don't know. It's interesting how they, I don't know, the narrative, how they dramatize it, how they did it. And it's the top athletes in the United States, going at it. I find it interesting. I don't know where I was going with that. It's just,
I'm telling you, you don't want to get me going because just there's this massive dehumanizing element to especially the NFL. Like, yes, most sports have this to an extent, but the NFL is brutal. So what can you do for me now? Type situation. And unfortunately, like commentators, like you said, they're talking about, well, this team's defense is awful this year, and this quarterback, really isn't getting the job done. Whatever. These are also human beings that aren't perfect, that make mistakes, that have life problems, that have performance anxiety, that go back to their phone after a game to all of these threats and hate messages over the interception that was thrown, over the sack that was given up on a big 3rd down. Oh, I've gotten threats to my phone for games that I haven't even played in. I was on the sideline. I didn't even touch the field that game. And like I'm getting threats of people threatening to hawk a loogie in my face and calling me, fat profanities and all this stuff. I'm like, it's so wild. And that's part of like what really, yeah, it really threw me off like mentally and psychologically from the NFL, because I'm like, these same people that have all this stuff to say, like, you wanna bump into me like somewhere in the street and say the same thing? 'Cause I promise you, you don't. Like I'm not. I try not to be a violent person, but I promise you wouldn't say that to me in person. So yeah. It's a part of the NFL that I'm really not a fan of, but it comes with the territory. We're entertainers at the end of the day. So
yeah. Well, and so that's crazy to think about. Yeah. Entertainers at the end of the day. And I think for you to approach it from a business standpoint is fantastic, because I do think, it's got to be hard for, so many kids growing up, falling in love with the sport, playing it middle school, high school, college, this, their entire world revolves around playing football or training to play for football. And then also you get the NFL and it's, stuff like, it's not that you're worse than this guy, but you're more expensive and he's a little younger, and we're in more time to develop, and that's where it's I don't it gets goofy. Anywho, we're going down the same rabbit hole.
no, I told you it's really a rabbit hole because but think about how that derails like guys' careers. I go to said team, and I'm a veteran center, with many starts at the position, very very healthy. It's what I do. I've gone to teams and they refuse to put me at center. I'm begging them. I'm like, hey, look, like I can try to hold guard down, but I barely played guard in my career. I'm a center. Like at least let me snap the ball. And then like just think about that. I don't get the opportunity. It's out of my control. So now I don't have film to back up what I can do. So now when teams are looking for another center, I've just plummeted on their list, and it just starts to derail your career. And you just hope a team will take a shot on you, or you hope that a previous coach that knows you is on a different team and like vouches for you, and like you just get into that vicious cycle. So yeah, it man, it's not just who you know, but who knows you. It's true. It's business. It's all business. I don't care what anyone says. It's all business.
Well, here, John, let's go back from you're big John now. Let's go back to little John growing up. Um, I don't know if that was ever a time, but when take people through your youth. I mean, people that listen to this podcast, a lot of athletes, parents, and coaches. Parents of these kids who are in middle school, high school. Your kids might do sports, team sports, club sports, school sports. And it's always interesting because there are times where my kids love wrestling. There are times where my kids hate wrestling and they want nothing to do with it. Just depends the day and blah blah blah. And as a parent, you're trying to push them, but not push them too hard. Like a psychotic parent. What was your athletic endeavors growing up? What'd you do? How'd you do it? And also, don't leave out that you absolutely rocked the French horn. So
I
go.
mean, that's the main part of the story. No, but yeah, I didn't grow up in an athletic family. My mom and my biological father, both from Jamaica. Lived in the States for a few years and then had me. So
Kingston. Gotcha. Get it.
yes,
Again.
yeah, yeah. There we go. There we go. So yeah, my grew up with my mom and my stepdad. Still not an athletic family. I tried karate when I was younger. I did some ice hockey briefly, and then got my fingers run over at one practice, and my mom was like, "Yeah, no, yank me out of there." I had to get all these stitches, whatever.
Wait,
Um,
where'd you grow up?
in Florida.
That's what I thought. You have ice hockey in Florida? Gosh, that's got to be expensive.
but but yeah. So yeah, I tried those things, but wasn't really like sports forward. And then picked up the guitar from a young age. Maybe like 7, 8 was the first time I picked up a guitar. And yeah, so I was playing for a bit. Like I said, tried basketball when I was like much younger. It was just yeah, I was kind of uncoordinated at the time because I was always a large kid. So yeah, fast forward, I moved up to from South Florida to Central Florida area, and so this is fifth grade on, and yeah, fifth grade, I broke 200 pounds in fifth grade. That's when I first saw 200 pounds. The pediatrician told my mom that I was at risk for heart failure and she needed to put me on a diet. And my mom like looked at me because like there's like an unhealthier version of like being heavy, and then there's a version of being heavy kid that's just like no, he's just big, and like I was just big. Like I was still athletic. I could still run. Yeah, I might not have been the most coordinated, but like I was winning most of the races at recess. Um, and yeah, so broke 200 pounds in fifth grade, and the area I grew up in, everybody played football. Yeah, the football weight limit was also 145 pounds. I couldn't play. Yeah, so I couldn't play organized football in fifth grade all the way through fifth, sixth, and seventh grade. So I get to middle school. I tried out for the basketball team, didn't make it. Track, didn't make it. I'm in the band. I really love music. I still really love music and appreciate all genres of music. Um, and just because of my experience in band, so I played French horn and marching and concert band. I mean, I'm in the local parades, in the uniform in the Florida sun at 200 something pounds in middle school, just sweating, drenched. Just hit my formations, whatever. Like it was, yeah, it was fun. Played guitar in jazz band, traveled to New York and New Orleans in middle school to play in Duke Ellington concerts. And yeah, just that's what I was doing. That's what I thought I was gonna, just music and academics. That's kind of what my parents were pushing, so that's what I was gonna do. Eighth grade comes around. I'm 270 pounds at this point. Eighth grade comes around, and I'm working at my pastor at the time. I'm working at his putt putt golf course. Okay. Coincidentally, my pastor also played for the University of Florida and the Indianapolis Colts. So all that will come back up later. Um, so I'm working at his putt putt golf course in the summer after eighth grade. Somebody from the church comes in and is like, "What grade are you in?" I'm like, "I'm in eighth, or I just graduated eighth grade." She's like, "There's no way." And then she's like, how much do you weigh?" So I told her. She called the high school coach right then. The high school was like, the coach was like, "Have him come in for a workout." So one summer I just went in and I worked out with varsity. I couldn't bench the bar. I couldn't do a push up. I couldn't do a single push up. That's like the level of fitness I was in. Like I'd run, I'd play backyard football all the time, but athletics was not my family. I never worked out, I just rode my bike and played football, you know? Um, so yeah, the coach was like, "No, no, you're too big. Like you're not going to be in the band when you come to high school. You're going to be on varsity. Like we need you on the varsity team." So I was like, "All right, cool." Started working out with varsity. They're catching me up to speed, all this stuff. Um, and and yeah, yeah. So I started playing on varsity. Coach puts me at center, and I'm starting center my freshman year, and never played center before. I got man man. I don't mean to be vulgar. When I say I got myself pushed in, like I got destroyed. I got destroyed. It was embarrassing how bad like I was just getting whooped. I didn't know the game. I didn't know the game. I never really played. So so that year, they put someone else at center. Coach moved me to guard for the next year. Okay, did a little better at guard. Whatever. My last 2 years, he moved me out to left tackle. So yeah. Sophomore year moved out to guard. Junior, senior year got moved out to tackle. And my running back at the time in high school was a future Olympian, and he was a future NFL draft pick. So he was getting a lot of attention, and his left tackle leading the way started getting some attention. So
Yeah.
that's when things really picked up for me.
So who's that?
This is Jeff Demps.
Okay.
This is Jeff Demps. I think he played maybe 6-7 years in the NFL. Great kick returner and running back. Then also competed in the Olympics as a sprinter. So yeah. He was at the time the fastest kid in America.
Holy cow.
Like in high school. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he had some wheels, and like obviously now it's ridiculous the caliber of athletes that are coming out of even middle school at times.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But anyways, so yeah, he accepted a scholarship to the University of Florida. The following year, I ended up accepting, scholarship to the University of Florida. And that was only, like an hour, 15 minutes, from my hometown. So that's great, just shot up the road. And yeah, college recruited me as a tackle. And I jokingly tell this story. I got to college, and Carlos Dunlap, the defensive end, I had a one-on-one pass rush against him, and he hit me with a spin move so bad, my first real practice as a Gator, that I sprained my ankle. They instantly moved me back to guard, and then the next year they moved me back to center. And like I said, I just ended up back playing center, and I started at center for 3 years for the Gators. Right after the Pouncey twins left.
Okay.
So yeah, that was my college journey. Still, I'll be completely honest. Like I wasn't football forward. Like I enjoyed the sport. I know that I was good at it, and like I had the discipline to play. But like I said, I didn't come from a football family. My mom asked me where the yellow line was on the field that she sees on TV. That's like how like we're just not football, not like your standard, like American family. Unfortunately, like that's typically more of the norm. So yeah. At the end of college, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to the NFL. That never really was. I was like, that would be nice, but I don't think I have what it takes to play in the NFL. Let me make sure that I get an education because, getting a degree from the University of Florida is very helpful in the long run, especially in the state of Florida. So I double majored in criminology and anthropology.
Jeez.
Yeah. And, there was a point in time when I was like, all right, well, let me see, I wouldn't mind being a forensic anthropologist. I think that'd be kind of, interesting and up my alley.
Yeah.
And towards the end of college, had no big plans for the NFL. And my trainer and one of my mentors throughout my career reached out to me on Facebook. LaCharles Bentley, former NFL Pro Bowl center, had a very unfortunate surgery gone wrong in his career with when he played for the Cleveland Browns, and it ended his career far too short. He was definitely one of the most dominant centers I've ever seen play at that time and still to this day.
Yeah.
Just a freak. So yeah, he reached out to me on Facebook, and he personally came to my college apartment one day and just met with me. And he was like, look, you have all the potential in the world. I would like to train you. I was like, I had no clue what I'd be doing. So I was like, all right, I'm sold. I graduated, in December of 2013. And I flew out to Arizona days before Christmas. I spent Christmas 2013 in a state by myself with nobody that I knew, not a single person that I knew. I was like, all right, this is just part of the journey.
Yeah.
So I was out there. He eventually connected me with my agent. I trained, did everything I needed to do, went to the combine, didn't have the greatest combine, thought I was going to be better than I was at the combine and didn't perform that well. Fast forward, I was, projected to go third, fourth round. I fell all the way down to free agency.
Okay.
I got selected as an undrafted free agent to the Indianapolis Colts in 2014 draft. It was a late Saturday night. They told me hey, look, we'll take you as a free agent. We'll make you a high priority free agent, whatever, and so I was like, all right, cool. That Sunday I flew out to Indiana, and that was the start of my career. So
welcome to the business of the NFL.
Well, welcome to the business. At that point I was just excited to have the opportunity. So I make it up to Indiana, and I'm just doing all that I know. I came from, a Florida program where I had some years with Coach Meyer, and I just knew it was I can't say I fully agree with his coaching style looking back as an adult now, but he bred some warriors. He helped really train and raise some warriors. And I'm not saying everything was ethical, but for most of us it worked. We might be a little jacked up now, but it is what it is. But yeah, I'm there in the NFL, just having a great time. I have Matt Hasselbeck as a quarterback that I'm working with. Andrew Luck's the starting quarterback. I'm around, Robert Mathis and just, T.Y. Hilton. There were just some names. Yeah. And I was like, oh wow, this is very, very, very impressive. Whatever. I'm like, this is the NFL. Okay. And the first preseason game, I just have my one, my main best friend. We're both old linemen, undrafted guys there together. And we go to play the Jets in Jersey. And we're just sitting there man, this is our first preseason game. We're just kind of looking at the lights, blah, blah, blah. 6 plays into that game, the starting center gets a high ankle sprain. And I just hear, Harrison. You want to talk about damn near shitting myself? I was like, oh God. So, I'm fumbling. I get my helmet. I sprint out there, and I'm about to have just a full panic attack. And then Matt Hasselbeck looks at me, and he made a Family Guy joke in the huddle as the play clock is ticking down. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, wait, this is the NFL. I'm over here yes, sir, Mr. Hasselbeck, sir. And he's just making Family Guy jokes in the huddle. And I was like, he was like, man, just relax. Oh, he's like, you'll be all right. Trust me. He's like, you'll be all right. Don't worry about me. You'll be good. So I'm like, all right. So that was my first, real NFL experience. And, I went on to start for a decent majority of my 3 years, with the Colts. And once my contract ended, I then, the Jets signed me to a 1 year deal. So I packed up my stuff, moved over, to Jersey, played for the Jets, did a 1 year deal, did another 1 year deal that was a little better. And then they signed me to a 2 year deal that I was like, oh, okay, now I'm starting to trend in the right direction. I was playing a bunch for them, no matter what politics were in play, no matter I'm not going to go into all of that. We don't have time for all that. No matter what I did and what was out of my control, but I still, found my way in there, had a great career with the Jets, really enjoyed everything. And then, towards the end of my career there, things went not so nice. They weren't in my favor. Once again, out of my control. Nothing I did, just out of my control. So fast forward now, COVID year was my first time being released. I went through training camp thinking that, I still had a home and, that COVID training camp, they cut me. That was the first time I shed a tear in the NFL. Once I walked out the building, I looked back, I was like, damn. Yeah, it took almost 7 years for me to feel this sting and to really I'm already seeing aspects of the business, but now I'm really experiencing the business side of things.
Yeah.
So a couple days later, the Bills are interested. So I just load up my car and I drive up to Buffalo and I stay in the most sketch hotel because I couldn't be anywhere near the team because of COVID protocol. So I was just in a sketch hotel and they would have a staff member just drop off a random bag of food in the lobby that I would never see. It's not like they would meet me. They would just text me and say okay, you can go down and get this bag of food now. That's just how safe they were being with COVID. And I was just locked away in this room, just doing virtual meetings and just going stir crazy. So after quarantining for however many days, I eventually get to be around the team and they put me on, veteran practice squad. So now it's my first year getting cut, first year being on practice squad. And it was just a battle. It was an impossible battle. There was nothing I could have done there. All right. That was my Buffalo year. After that, the Giants. The Giants picked me up right away after the season ends. Now I'm doing the whole trifecta of the New York teams.
Yeah, I was going to say,
so
jeez.
2021, I go down to the Giants and, unfortunately, after training camp, they release me. Okay. I hop in my truck. I drive all the way across country. 2 weeks later, they call me back. As soon as I got settled at my place in Arizona, they call me right back. So I hop on a red eye. I land in New York, whatever time of the morning. I go right to the facility. I put my bags in the corner, put on gear, and go out to practice off of a red eye flight. It had to be maybe I don't remember the exact dates, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks into being back with the Giants. We're practicing and I'm blocking a nose guard and I completely rupture my knuckle. Just blew my whole knuckle out. I can't straighten my hand out now. So I rupture my knuckle, just tape it up. I'm like, nope, I'm not going to let anything hold me back. These coaches, I'm not going to give them any ammo. So I tape it up. 6 plays later, I tear my Achilles. Playing defensive line nonetheless. And I've never played defensive line in my life. So think about the BS of that is the coaches needed help. And through me, a now 8-year veteran at a position I've never played before, and I blow my Achilles out, I'm on season-ending IR. Psychologically, in an awful place. Yeah. I'm just in a very, very bad place. Never been in this situation before. All right. Heal up, just nothing I can do except for just get better. The next year, the Falcons invite me to their veteran mini camp. Show up to their veteran mini camp. They're like, all right, we're going to keep you. I'm like, all right, great. So go through training camp, busting my ass, doing whatever I can. And I realize I'm like, wait, they aren't letting me snap the ball. They're not letting me play center. And I'm like, no matter what I do, they're keeping me at guard. I really don't look good at guard. This is frustrating, but what am I going to do? Complain and just, get cut? So, just doing what I can. The Falcons release me. This is like the start of just this downhill spiral. Falcons release me. I go home. I'm home just training in Arizona until November. They call me back. I'm like, hey, look, we can use you again. I take another red eye cross country. And as soon as I land, I go to practice, like I never left, So 2 days later, like I'm just giving you this is like the craziness of my career. 2 days later, I might have to hop off here in a bit. Actually, no, I'm a little flexible. 2 days later, the team has a Thursday night game against the Panthers, and I wasn't traveling. I was on veteran practice squad. So I'm in my hotel and I'm like, man, I can finally get some sleep. I landed. I had 2 practices trying to get this playbook in. I can finally get some sleep. The team's gone. It's Thursday midday and I wake up to my phone blowing up. I'm like, what is happening right now? I'm like panicking. I answered. They're like, Harrison, where are you? And I'm like, I'm in my hotel room. And like, all right, we have a rookie waiting with a rental car at the facility. We need you to pack a duffel bag, and he's going to drive you up to the game because one of our players is having a baby. I'm like, what? So a rookie now drives me up the 3.5 hours to Charlotte for this game in the rain. So we're just driving up in the rain. I get up to Charlotte. I have 10 minutes to grab a plate of food from the hotel, and then I go right to the game, and I'm in pads for that game, and damn near played. So I'm like, this is just the chaos of the NFL.
Yeah.
So season ends, and they're like, all right, we appreciate everything. We're gonna bring you back. All this stuff. I'm like, all right, yes, now's my time. I can really compete. They see that the kind of person I am. So I come back for the next season. What do you know? During training camp, I realized that I'm on year 10. And the oldest guy next to me is on year 2. And I was like, all 4 of these other linemen combined equal 5 years of experience. I have double the experience, and I'm playing next to obviously my pride's starting to kick in, but what am I going to do? I'm like, no, so yeah, just did what I could, but like stuff like that, you read between the lines. I'm like, all right, I know that they're gonna, I know that I'm not gonna make the team. Whatever, the team releases me. I think it's the end of my career at this point, and I almost got 10 seasons. I'm like, this is unfortunate. So I'm just kind of staying in shape, just kind of getting down, a little depressed. I'm like, damn, I came so close yet so far. December 13th of last year, I'm sitting on my couch and my wife and I sit down to eat this random English muffin concoction that we both just came up with. And I'm like, okay, we're about to watch our shows, whatever. My agent calls and he's like, how would you like to play for Miami? I was like, shut the hell up. It's December 13th. I've gone the entire season thinking that I'm done. And he was like, how soon can you be on a flight? I was like, just give me the latest flight tonight. So I take a red eye from Atlanta down to Fort Lauderdale. And I go and I do a workout against, 2 other players. And I made the team. I made active roster. So I finished the last 4 games with the Dolphins, and then their one playoff game, the 0 degree game against Kansas City, last playoff. Mm-hmm. So full circle, I end up playing for my hometown team, that I was born. I end up playing for my hometown team for 6 weeks, for a total of 6 weeks, and that's that. After that game, I haven't heard a call. I got my 10 years. It was an ugly 10 years, but that was my goal, and here I am.
Yeah. Holy cow.
So yeah, that's it in a nutshell. I just figured I'd give you a whole rundown.
Oh, dude, that's fantastic. I do think it's interesting. Again, I don't think this is stuff that people realize, but the longer you're in the NFL, the more that minimum is, and how much more expensive you are versus a rookie coming up and stuff like that. So like people can understand, put together the financial stuff of that. I'm curious. So you said, I'm dialing way back here to like 20 minutes ago. Couldn't do a push up, bench press in the bar, blah, 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 blah. At what point did like this weight training strength, cause you look at you now and you're a brick house. So how, like, at what point, when did this lifting thing come into play? At what point did the light switch turn on and you start to take it really, really seriously and taking care of your body and that whole piece?
So the lifting portion, I started to take seriously in high school. I was on the weightlifting team. I was on the wrestling team, basketball, track.
Weightlifting team.
Yeah. To me, that's so normal, but I realize the more I talk to people, like that's not like a normal thing.
No, like powerlifting, like deadlift,
like powerlifting.
Wow.
Yeah, deadlift, squat, deadlift, bench press, and cleans.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it was just in our area. We had a lot of country strong people that just were ridiculous. Like there were a pair of brothers in high school that each were benching 500 pounds each. Yeah. And like my most in high school was I think 270. Like that's all I got up to. But like lower body wise, I was extremely strong. I got the 640 squat. And in high school, I think yes. Oh in my junior year, I hit a 640 squat. Deadlift was over 600 as well. My upper body was just like very delayed,
okay.
But yeah. And like, so in high school, I started taking lifting more seriously, especially because there's like a pride aspect that, mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh no, like these, like, I'm not about to get, pushed around and everything out here, So that started to kick in. And then I got to college and I was a part of, two really good college strength coach, programs because, we switched coaches in the middle. So I was a part of two very different programs, but both of them, really like piqued my interest initially in like strength training. So, my senior year of college, I interned as a University of Florida strength coach for all the athletics. So I worked with baseball, basketball, women's soccer, women's lacrosse, like you name it. And like just really the ins and outs of what it takes to be a strength coach. And so that was a great experience for me. And then once I got to the NFL, my mentor, with Charles Bentley, he went from being a 315 pound offensive lineman to looking like a bodybuilder. Like he had 2% body fat. And I was like, I won't be like this guy, So like instantly I was like, all right, whatever it takes. So like slowly but surely I acquired more knowledge and I realized I was like, I never want to be a big offensive lineman. I was like, I want to be as heavy as close as I can, as close as I can be. I want to be as heavy as other offensive linemen, but not look like it. And I just want to be strong, just strong. So I started learning, nutrition. I started learning, mobility, things that people don't think of. Like people think of squat and bench and how large are my muscles when I flex it. But it's like, no, like let's think of hip mobility. And if your hip can't open up, not only are you unable to move athletically, but you're unable to properly activate that muscle necessary for whatever lift or movement. So like I was just acquiring whatever knowledge I could. And, for most of my NFL career, I was like, okay, this is a hobby of mine. And then maybe the last 3 years, I was like, oh no, this is a passion.
Yeah.
Once I saw my like supplement pantry just growing and like realizing that I'm now carrying around various powders and taking, I was like, oh, this is now like a passion / obsession.
Yeah.
So yeah.
In the way of, sorry, rewind really quick. You mentioned wrestling in there. Just pop that in there. How much wrestling did we do?
So I did 2 seasons. I did 1 season in school. And then I did a season of Greco, outside of school. And I really love wrestling. And if anything, wrestling helped teach me balance, weight distribution, and body control and manipulation. So I know it's all very different things, but part of me at center is, I'm stunning you. As soon as the ball snaps, you're getting stunned. Wherever that offhand hits, you're getting stunned. And then those heavy nose guards, they love to come in with the club or, try to sink a rip or whatever. As soon as that was coming, I'm walking in arm bar and dropping my weight. Like things that like don't naturally occur unless you've wrestled or done some kind of martial arts. So like guys would be pissed, but I'm like, all right, what am I just gonna let you like knock me? No, I'm gonna lock an arm bar, and it's like half of an arm drag, like so yeah, no, wrestling was definitely something that helped me a lot in my offensive line career.
My 12-year-old just played his first season of tackle ever, and he's wrestled. We've jiu-jitsu and wrestle, and so we're trying to get some of his buddies, his lineman buddies specifically, to come out for wrestling. And we haven't had a whole lot of success. They, I don't know, it's just not, but I love I don't know if I too played center in high school. Different levels here, not quite the same. I did not wrestle, and I wish I would have, because everything that you just walked through there in the way of the balance and the thing, and we constantly promote athletes doing multiple sports, because we hey, you're great at basketball, but if you go out for track, you're gonna get faster. So like, you know what can use some speed? Basketball can use some speed too. Hey, you're super physical on the football field. Fantastic. Go out for wrestling, and hey, learn to use your leverages better, and see how things carry from sport to sport and stuff like that. So that's fantastic. Jonotthan, I know we've gone over time here. Is there anything that you wish I would have asked you that I didn't?
Not that I can think of. You said you wanted to hear the background, the story, and like I gave you the whole rundown. I know I was on here a few minutes late, but yeah, no, there's nothing crazy. I know you mentioned, talking about the world of athletics now, and how parents are with kids and like that whole realm. We can definitely hop on another another call, another podcast, sometime if you'd like.
We can have part two.
Yeah, we could definitely do part two, and then I'll let you, now that the background's out there, I'll let you, ask away, and we can delve into some more topics.
Very cool. Final question: Are we still playing guitar?
I'll pick it up and strum. I think I picked it up just 2 weeks ago. Picked it up and strummed a little bit, and I realized how much I do miss it. But right now, I'm on this entrepreneurial journey. Between metabolic, I have a Turo car rental fleet that's booming and growing, as well as some real estate endeavors. So yeah, I'm just really focused on that, and the little bit of free time I get, if my eyes are open, I'm probably watching a show on the couch with my wife and enjoying a nice home cooked meal. So yeah.
You got a little guy too. That, what are we, 9 months, 10 months?
Yeah, 9 months.
Okay.
Yeah, 9 months, and he's wanting to walk any day now. So yeah, no, he's great though, and couldn't have asked for a better child. I know all parents say that, but he's truly phenomenal. He is.
So when we were out in Charlotte and we shook hands, I watched my hand disappear underneath your hand. You told me your big old fingers can hit the strings on the guitar and not like over. Like that's got it, because I'm a strummer. I have some chords. I got the chords down. Okay. That's about where I'm at. Like, is that? I mean, obviously, if you have bigger hands too, you can get around, the neck a little bit easier at times. Are your hands too big? You make it happen.
I make it happen, but my finger dexterity is declining, or has declined from the NFL. There was a lot of finger tape that went on these fingers. There was a lot of it. So I know my dexterity isn't fully there anymore. So it makes it a little more difficult. But yeah, I can still get it done.
Which hand was the knuckle on?
My right hand.
Okay, yeah. Gotcha. Okay, so not your. You play right-handed, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, let's see. You're fine then.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm good.
There we go.
So,
Jonotthan, if people want to find you, follow you on the social medias and whatnot, where do they go?
Instagram, jharrison72, and obviously I don't know who this will reach, but anyone in the northern Georgia area, that's where my initial 2 metabolic locations will be. So please, hit me up on social media. I'm not the greatest at responding all the time because I'm always handling things in front of me. So don't take any offense, but But I promise, I'm a sociable person. I love to treat everyone with respect as long as I'm treated with respect. And yeah, I appreciate you having me on the show, for real.
There you go, John. Now, I appreciate your time. This is fun. I love talking to you in Charlotte. Your whole story is so interesting because to hear somebody that makes it to the highest level in sport, and it's great, but it's not all rainbows and sunshine the way I think a lot of people sitting in their armchairs are on Sundays. Oh, look how great! It's not as easy as it looks. It takes a ton of hard work, and 10 years in the league, man. I mean, that's kudos to you on a phenomenal career. And I'm not saying that it's over because we still have some time this year. You might get a call tonight. You don't know.
You never know.
You never know. Awesome, man. Thank you so much. Listeners, thanks for listening. We'll catch you on the next one. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for listening to another episode of Oak Performance Radio. Don't forget to check us out on the social at Oak Performance and online at www.oakstrength.com/Oak Performance. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.